a footballer fell to his knees and begged an entire country to stop killing itself. This was not a celebration. This was Didier Drogba's desperate plea to save his divided homeland. In 2005, Ivory Coast was being torn apart by civil conflict. The country was divided between North and South. Families lived in fear. Armed men controlled the streets, and thousands had already suffered. Football seemed powerless against something this violent. But the national team represented something the country had almost forgotten: unity. Its players came from different regions, religions, and communities. Yet they wore the same shirt and fought for the same flag. And standing at the center of them was Didier Drogba. History changed. Ivory Coast entered its final World Cup qualifier, carrying the hopes of an entire nation. When the final results arrived, the impossible had happened. For the first time in history, Ivory Coast had qualified for the World Cup. But Drogba knew millions of Ivorians were watching. He gathered his teammates around a television camera. The celebration suddenly became silent. Then Drogba stepped forward, not as a football star, but as a son speaking to his wounded country. With tears in his eyes, Drogba begged the people of Ivory Coast to forgive one another. Lay down your weapons, hold elections, everything will be better. Behind him, his teammates raised their hands and repeated the same message. They had qualified for a World Cup, but now they were pleading for the survival of their country.
Déposez tous les armes. Faites les élections, organisez les élections, et tout ira du mieux. On veut s'amuser. Arrêtez vos fusils là, on veut s'amuser.
The nation listened. The message traveled far beyond that small dressing room. People watched from homes, cafes, and streets on both sides of the divided nation. For one powerful moment, they were no longer North or South. They were Ivorians, celebrating the same team and listening to the same plea. The truth behind the legend. Didier Drogba did not end the civil war by himself. Peace negotiations and ceasefire agreements had already involved politicians, rebels, and international organizations. But his words became one of the most powerful symbols of reconciliation in Ivory Coast. He used the one moment when the entire country was listening and asked them to choose. Drogba scored hundreds of goals during his career. But the most important thing he ever delivered was not a goal. It was a plea. A plea that reminded a broken country that it could still stand together. Because sometimes football does not just change a game. Sometimes it gives an entire nation a reason to believe in peace.
Le seul pays de l'Afrique qui a toutes ses richesses ne peut pas sombrer dans la guerre comme ça. S'il vous plaît, déposez tous les armes. Faites les élections, organisez les élections, et tout ira du mieux. On veut s'amuser. Arrêtez vos fusils là, on veut s'amuser. Arrêtez vos fusils là,